Y'all, y'all know how I feel about my Fridays, man. There's no day like Friday. It's the start of the weekend. Everything kind of gets underway. And, I'm feeling really good about this weekend coming up. Unlike past weeks where I didn't plan on really doing anything, this week in particular, plan on watching a lot of football. There'll be a lot of football on the tube, and I'll kick my feet up, nice cold adult beverage, and lots of football. Doesn't get much better than that. In my mind, I'm saying, yes. And you know what my fiance is saying? And it begins. Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the 189th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Big shout out to my guy, J Moo, for being the first in the comment section. J Moo, what up? It feels like it's been a while, and I'm not sure. Did you win? The Soul Survivor pool this past year? I think it was you. Man, I need a dub. I'm coming after it. But you are looking at the two-time winners and losers champion. So, yeah, that guy's in the building. But I think you won the Survivor pool, Soul Survivor pool. I need one of those. I ain't got one yet. So I need one of those chips. That information, more likely than not, coming down the pipeline this upcoming next week, I should say. Next week. I think all that stuff is going to be released to the masses so you guys can sign up for all of the different leagues and pools that we have on the Louie T Network every single year. So I'll be rolling that out next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But shout out to my guy, J Moo, for being the first to comment in the comment section. J Moo, what up, baby? I see you. So with that said, it's Friday, man. It's Friday and I'm ready to swing. I'm ready to swing, baby. Let's do it. You know what time it is. No need to delay. Let's get right to the proceedings this evening. You already know. You already know what it is. Let me drop this gem on your melon. Open your mind. Let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with your man, Louie T double E. Let me open you up. Get you thinking a little bit. So, I want to quickly go over some topics that I found interesting. So this Gem Droppin Session will be like an abbreviated mini in case you missed it. Not quite the same, but something like it. Like remix. It's a remix. You know what I'm saying? So, we've been talking about Michael Thomas and his situation with the New Orleans Saints, and it seems to be getting a little rocky, a little muddy, a little nasty. You start to get out in the media and you're airing out grievances over socials. Shit can go sideways. Seems like cooler heads are starting to prevail. Reportedly, Michael Thomas met with Sean Payton to clear the air. And honestly, when situations start to get away from you, the best thing you can do is have a sit down with someone, which is what the Texans failed to do with Deshaun Watson. That's when you feel like you're losing grip of a situation. It's slipping away from you. You got to go have a sit down. That's how the Aaron Rodgers situation got out of control in Green Bay for a while there, is that you waited too late to sit down. Sometimes a guy needs to see your face and understand where you're coming from. And when they keep hearing things through the media, or they hear you say something to the press, and they can misconstrue that any way, it can be spun in any different way. And so you've got to be able to convey a message to that guy that, hey, this is how we feel. So that there is no confusion. Because when you allow outside influences and forces to get involved, that's how shit goes sideways. So I'm glad to hear that they met to clear the air, but I don't think everything is fixed. I still think that the Saints are really upset with Michael Thomas. Now, reportedly after the sit down, everything was kind of, chill, and they felt like there was a common ground there that they met at, and that moving forward, they were going to be on the same page, and communication was going to be key moving forward. All of the things you want to hear coming out of a meeting like that. However, 6 hours later after that meeting, I'm still hearing reports that the Saints are open to trading Michael Thomas. So maybe that meeting wasn't just to mend fences. Maybe that meeting was to say, hey, what do you really want? Because you've been tripping ever since we gave you the contract. What do you really want? Do you want out of New Orleans? What's good? Talk to us. Because if that's what you want, instead of you always getting hurt and then deciding to do whatever the hell you want to do, we can just move you if that's what you really want. So maybe that was part of the conversation. Do you really want to be here? If I'm Sean Payton, that's the first thing I want to know. Do you really want to be here, MT? Is this really home for you? Or do you want to play somewhere else? Because we can make that happen. If that's what you really want to do, talk to us. What good is it to have one of the best receivers in the league if he's not really invested and he's never playing? Shit does you no good. So, I don't know. That's still a situation. I thought we were going to get closure when they met with one another. I'm not sure if closure really was something that we got or if he's really on the block. Stay tuned for that. The Jacksonville Jaguars decided to trade linebacker Joe Schobert to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is a fantastic move by the Steelers because Joe Schobert, I think, is a really good football player. Remember, I told you I was interested in Joe Schobert when he was a free agent, not this past offseason, but the offseason before that, coming from Cleveland. I was like, hey, Joe Schobert on the low, really good linebacker, okay? Always around the football. I like me some Joe Schobert. Well, apparently, and this is what you get when you get a new staff, essentially a new GM, even though he was already in Jacksonville. But Urban Meyer, we all know Herb is running the show in Jacksonville. Their GM, Trent Baalke, is literally a figurehead. He's got the title. It's good to put his face out there and say, no, he's the GM. But we all know Herb is running the show. And what we've seen is that Herb is like, some of this stuff that was here before I got here, I'm good. That's not my stuff. I'm good. I really don't need that stuff. CJ Henderson, now Joe Schobert. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I think the Steelers got themselves a steal here. And I'm hearing, and I don't know all of the details of the deal, but I'm hearing that they only had to give up a late round draft pick to get Joe Schobert. I'm saying, hell yeah. If I'm Pittsburgh, hell yeah. Give me Joe Schobert for a late round draft pick. Thank you, please, and thank you. So, Steelers got better on defense. And after watching them against the Philadelphia Eagles first team offense, looks like they could use Joe Schobert on defense. Absolutely. And I get it. They didn't have all their guys healthy, and probably no one will in the preseason, especially the first preseason game. I don't care. Didn't look good. I thought the Eagles were able to move the football, and if not for a few things, and we'll talk about that when we get to Thursday night leftovers. Leftovers. Whoa. Them leftovers I got for y'all today, man. Something serious. It's a good move by the Steelers. Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson wants all the smoke. I'm going to give it to y'all, too. I'm going to read y'all what my man P Square had to say about the Arizona Cardinals. And he didn't mix any words, and he didn't hold any punches. I love it. So, Patrick Peterson said that the Cardinals essentially ghosted him. When it came time to re-up, those guys were nowhere to be found. And we heard all offseason how they really wanted Patrick Peterson back. They wanted Pat Pete back. We got to have him. He's our guy. He's a legend here in Arizona. We got to have him back. We love him. But then when it came time to talk turkey, these guys went ghost. Here's what Patrick Peterson had to say. I'm going to read y'all a couple of quotes And I'll let you decide. You know what, though? I look at GM Steve Keim, and I say, man, he has a grimy ass streak in him. Like, he don't look like a dude you can trust. But then again, I don't know. He strikes me as a dude that's somewhat untrustworthy. You know, he's done some shiesty shit over the life of his career in Arizona, where I look at him and I say, hey, Steve, you full of shit too. Here's another one of those examples. So, Patrick Peterson told The Athletic's Dan Pompei that the Cardinals repeatedly told him they want him back, and that general manager Steve Keim told him, quote, we're going to do everything to get you back, close quote. But once free agency began, Peterson said all he got from the organization was radio silence. Quote, I was just frustrated and upset at how upper management handled the situation, he said. You tell me one thing, then when it's time to talk, you turn your shoulder on me like it's cold shoulder. I've been in the league a long time. 30 years old. Grown man. Talk to me like a grown man. Not like a child or like your side piece. I'm not done yet. Hold on. I'm not finished. I got more sauce to put on top of the sauce that we just put on top of that sauce that was on top of the meat. He want all the heat. Hold on. He said, then he finally heard from Steve Keim when he signed with the Vikings. Quote, he had the nerve to text me talking about how I love you, wish nothing but the best, he said. Oh, now your phone works all of a sudden. I found that as the ultimate disrespect right there. I love it. I love it. I want all the smoke. So it's a little rocky right now. And I'm not saying he can't go home, because Arizona will always be home for Patrick Peterson. If he goes into the Hall of Fame, don't know if he's a Hall of Fame player. He'll probably get in, more likely than not. But I don't know if Patrick Peterson's a Hall of Fame player. I'm not going to lie to you. But if he were to get in, it'd be as an Arizona Cardinal. It'd be as an Arizona Cardinal. But that's not the way you want to end with a legend. If, in fact, he is, quote unquote, a legend. Which I'd struggle with Patrick Peterson. Started off with a bang. I didn't think he was all that great towards the tail end of his Arizona Cardinals career. You know, there's that suspension, and I felt like after the suspension, he was never really a dominant player. So it's hard for me to just give him the title of future Hall of Famer. But at the rate that they're letting guys in, oh, he'll get in. But I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about Patrick Peterson, you know, Hall of Fame. But that's not what this conversation is about. This is about him wanting all the smoke with the Arizona Cardinals organization, specifically Steve Keim, their general manager, and how he pretty much ghosted him when it came time to talk about bringing one of the best corners in franchise history. Of course, to me, the best corner in Arizona Cardinals franchise history is Aeneas Williams. But Patrick Peterson, one of the best in Arizona Cardinals history, well, they ghosted him, as he put it. Interesting. Finally, Seahawks reportedly not budging on their final offer to safety Jamal Adams. I talked about this on the last podcast, that they offered him a massive deal. Now, we don't know the specifics of that deal, okay? But we have been told that this is a big deal. It's a massive contract, and one that, as a safety, and remember, I told you, he doesn't view himself as a safety. He says that he's a playmaker. As a safety, the Seahawks feel like they're really overstepping their boundary here. Like, they're really going out on a limb and offering him this deal, but they're doing it because they think he's that good. And they're like, look, don't shit on this contract, man. We're not giving you another offer. Do not shit on this offer. We're going to slide it across the table one more time. Please don't shit on this. We'd hate to have to go through this with you, because we're not going to let you leave. We didn't trade 2 first rounders to let you leave. So you're not going anywhere, bro. Please don't make us do you, because we'll do you. We will franchise your ass 2 or 3 times. Please don't make it, because safeties ain't making that kind of bread. It's not like they're making quarterback bread. That's why I'm like, Jamal, please don't make them push the button, because you're not making quarterback money. So they can franchise you twice and feel like, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Please don't make them push the button. So we're going to see how it goes, because shit could get real ugly. I told you guys last week, and I've continued to echo those sentiments this week. It could be really sleepless in Seattle for the Seahawks. Speaking of which, they just lost their tight end, Colby Parkinson, who was going to have a massive role on that team this year. Remember, they moved on from, I think, a couple of their tight ends last year. They did sign Gerald Everett in free agency, which is supposed to be a big move for them. I like Gerald Everett a lot. But Colby Parkinson is a guy that they really had high hopes for, and he was going to have a prominent role with them, and he's injured now. He broke his foot. He's going to miss the first part of the season, probably the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season with that broken foot. So the Seahawks, it hasn't been all peaches and cream for them. It hasn't been peachy keen for them. You still have their left tackle out wanting a new deal. He's 36, going into year 14 of his career, and they're like, bro, we're not paying a 36-year-old tackle, man. Come on now, you're getting $11 million this year. Just come on, play some ball. And he's like, nah, I need reassurance. I feel good. I feel like I got a number of years left in me. I need that extension, man. And Russ is like, hey, I need my left tackle. They like, hey, Russ, we had this conversation with you. All right, we trying to be nice. Shut up. Go play ball. We got to handle this Jamal Adams shit. Leave us alone right now. This is not the time. We'll get back to you, and we'll figure out Dwayne Brown's situation. We need to handle Jamal Adams first. That's more important right now. Seattle, man. Woo! You better watch yourself. Things could get really, really interesting out there. Whew. Anyway, I digress. So that's going to do it for the Gem Droppin Session today. We're going to transition into a break. And then after the break, we're going to get into some Thursday night leftovers. But we do have a couple of super chats, so I want to knock these out real quick before we get into anything else. I got a super chat from Jamar Johnson. Thank you for the super chat, Jamar. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for that super chat, Jamar Johnson. Got one here from Silver V, my guy Silver Villains. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, how do I enter your Survivor and weekly pick'em pools if it's not too late to join? No, it's not too late to join. I haven't even put out that information. I will put that out next week, and I will do several videos to get you guys up to speed on everything, how to sign up, how much it costs, all of that good jazz. And the weekly pick'em pool is a weekly pool, so you don't have to sign up for that once. You sign up for it every week as you choose. You could play this week, you could not play the next week, you can play 2 hands, you can play 3, you can play 5, you can play 10, whatever you want to do, you can do. The winners and losers is a season-long pool. That one you sign up for and pay your money at the beginning, and then you go the entire year. So different things as always here with the Louie T Network, and I will lay all of that out for you next week. So like I said, stay tuned for that. But you have not missed anything. You're right on time, and you'll hear more about it next week. So with that said, we're going to take a quick break, hear a word from one of our sponsors, come back on the other side, and then we'll get into those yummy scrum-dilly-umptious Thursday night leftovers. You are tuned in to the 189th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I'll see you guys on the other side. I want to take this time to thank Manscaped for sponsoring the Louie T Network podcast. Attention listeners across the galaxy, all the way from Australia to Houston, do we have a pube problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with their 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Kick your pubes to the next planet with the Performance Package 4.0. The orbits in your pants will feel like you've got zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job from the leaders in male grooming. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get your rocket ready for takeoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code LouieT. Ready for an out-of-world experience, fellas? Look no further than a Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped that is just taken off not only in the US, but Canada, the UK, and across Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Singapore. Inside this package, you'll find their 4.0 lawnmower trimmer, weed whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your whole solar system. First scheduled for liftoff, new Lawnmower 4.0 lawnmower trimmer. This spaceship is here to guide you on your journey to trim your body, balls, butt, and even your anus. You see what we did there? This fourth generation trimmer also features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on and off switch which can engage a travel lock and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight you can turn on and off when needed for a more precise shave throughout your travels across the universe. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker. It's like having a little astronaut to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and ear. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Pause. Don't forget to use Crop Preserver ball deodorant and their Crop Reviver to help your little planets on their A game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and Shed Travel Bag. Abort hairy balls and Buzz Lightyear that Woody with Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code LouieT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code LouieT at manscaped.com. For a clean Trinity and beyond, your space balls will thank you. Welcome back to the 189th installment of the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're out there listening to this on a streaming platform, please make sure that you rate and review this podcast very favorably, I might add. Looking for 5 stars, looking for a short, brief comment, but one that is positive that helps this podcast rank on Apple Podcasts and different streaming platforms. So I thank you guys for that in advance. If you're out there watching this live on YouTube, please do me a huge solid. Hit the subscribe button for more great content. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And also, please hit the like button as that helps this channel grow exponentially. So with that said, let's jump into Thursday night leftovers. Let's head over to the kitchen. I told you I like to leave my leftovers out. If you're going to eat them rapidly, you leave them out. If they're going to last for a while, you need to put them in the fridge to preserve them. I know I'm crushing mine the next day. You know, so if I got a box of Papa John's, I'm going to leave it right on the stove because I'm coming back and I'm crushing that tomorrow. So we got the Papa John's tonight. I popped the box open, crushed half the box. I'm going back for leftovers and I'm going to finish it off. You know what time it is. We're going to start with this Eagles and Steelers Battle of Pennsylvania game from Thursday night. 2 games on the docket to get the preseason kicked off last night. Eagles hosting the Steelers. Let's talk about that game first and what were my leftovers from that game. First leftover. Jalen Hurts. I've been talking a lot of shit about him. Looked pretty damn good last night. Now, if you didn't watch the game, and this is why it's important to actually watch the games, because if you just look at his stats, 3 of 7, 54 yards, you're like, oh, Jalen Hurts stinks. Not exactly. Not exactly. I thought he had 2 drops in the football game. And so that first possession, I thought he was phenomenal. A strike to Dallas Goedert, a nice completion to Zach Ertz. I thought that he threw a ball that was very catchable to Jalen Reagor that he dropped. On a third down, I thought he had an opportunity to Ertz, put it right between the 8 and the 6 on Zach Ertz, and he let the ball beat him up and it went incomplete. That would have moved the sticks. Who knows what that drive turns into if it's not dropped. So I thought Jalen Hurts looked really, really good. I was actually surprised. Now, I'm not going to change my tune. I still think that Jalen Hurts is going to stink it up. But that looked good. That did not look like a guy that, and again, there were moments last year where Jalen Hurts looked the part. That Arizona Cardinals game last year was phenomenal from him. So I know he's capable, but I also know he's capable of being extremely funky. So we're going to see. I thought that was a great start for him under Nick Sirianni, their new head coach. So thought that was a good look for Jalen Hurts last night. Despite the numbers, you had to watch the game to understand it. That wasn't a legit 3 of 7, for 54 yards. He was a lot better than that. Next leftover. Mason Rudolph looked a lot better. I gave him a lot of grief, him and Dwayne Haskins, a lot of grief after the Cowboys game. And that was the first game. And, no one was really taking that game serious. And you're playing a bunch of guys that aren't going to ultimately make your team. I thought that Rudolph looked a lot better, a lot more comfortable, played a lot better within himself in the scheme. He was 8 of 9 for 77 yards. I thought he played extremely well, gave guys opportunities to make plays. I thought he ran the offense well. Okay, and if you're going to get that from Mason Rudolph, then it's not dire straits if something happens to Ben Roethlisberger. That said, the inconsistency is what kills me with Mason Rudolph, but that was good Mason. If you can get good Mason more than bad Mason, you have a chance in Pittsburgh if something were to happen to Ben Roethlisberger. I thought he looked really solid on the evening as well. Next leftover. This was a good leftover right here, man. All right. Let me take another bite. Joe Flacco. I didn't know. I forgot, actually. I didn't know. I forgot that Joe Flacco, my guy Joe. Forgot he was in Philadelphia. So I thought he came in and he ran the offense really well. Thought he came in, picked right up where Jalen Hurts left off, and gave them an opportunity. And just one more thing on Jalen Hurts. One of his incompletions was a deep ball. He missed, barely missed. Quez Watkins down the sidelines, had a step on the defender, can't miss that one. But that was from the shadow of his own goal line, and he threw them out of the goal line. The next play, they had so much confidence in Hurts, they ran it back, and he hit Ertz over the middle of the field and got him out of the shadow of their own end zone. They started that drive from the 2-yard line. They ultimately had to punt on the next set of downs, but not punting with the punter with his heels right by the end line is a good thing to be able to move the offense out of there and give your punter some space to breathe. And he actually flipped the field, punted the football, and the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken, started that next drive at the 23-yard line. So I thought Hurts was good. I thought Flacco was really good too. Flacco, 10 of 17, 178 yards in the game and a touch. I thought Joe Flacco came in and looked poised. He looked comfortable. He looked like a guy that the Eagles could turn to if Jalen Hurts isn't what Eagles fans think he's going to be. And if something happens to Hurts where he's not able to finish the season and they have a shot to make the postseason, Joe Flacco is a very capable backup in this league, and he still has something left. And he showed us that last year with the Jets. And I think he's showing that again. I thought he looked good and ran the offense very well for the Eagles. Next leftover. Only got a few pieces left, but that one was good. Najee Harris. Let me just say this. Tackle him on with the first defender. I ain't met a dude that can do that yet. Okay? That first defender, I haven't seen that guy get him down in the NFL yet. He's carrying that over from Alabama, where he was a workhorse and a broken tackle machine. And I told you that I think this guy's going to be a stud for them. And I was actually impressed with both of their backs. I thought Anthony McFarland looked good as well. So they've got a nice little 1-2 punch there. But Najee Harris looks the part. And he is going to be, and you look at his numbers, and you say, what is Louie T talking about? He only had 2 rushes for 7 yards or whatever it was. You had to watch the game. Both of his bigger runs in the game were called back due to holding penalties. And we know the guy can catch the football out of the backfield as well. So there's a lot to like there with Najee Harris. He continues to impress me in this preseason, as this was the Steelers' second preseason contest, and he's looked good in both of them. Next, leftover. I would tell you, this is a big piece right here. Hold on, I'm about to break this one down. Tyree Jackson. Wow. Okay. I didn't know that the Eagles were conducting an experiment with Tyree Jackson. That name sounds familiar to you. It should. That was the Buffalo quarterback last year that everyone thought was going to get drafted, and he didn't. Remember, he went to the combine and he was throwing 102-mile-an-hour fastballs during the gauntlet drill, and Steve Smith Sr. went up to him and said, bro, you trying to get somebody killed out here. What's wrong with you? Dude's out here trying to make money and you trying to break fingers. He didn't get drafted. And the quarterback experiment quickly died in the NFL. The Bills picked him up as an undrafted rookie and quickly realized, nah, this ain't it. And so they're making that Logan Thomas conversion to tight end, and it's going well. He looks good. And he's 6'7", 250. He's huge. And I'm watching this guy go up, climb the ladder, come down to football. I'm saying, oh, shit. They got another damn tight end in Philadelphia. He's going to make that team. They would be foolish. After showing me what I saw last night, even if they tried to put him in bubble wrap and hide him from the rest of the league, if I watch that game and I'm a team and I need some tight end depth, that's enough for me to say, you know what, I want to work with this kid and I'll give him a roster spot to do it. Especially if I'm like the Houston Texans and I don't have shit. Yeah, sign me up for some Tyree Jackson. I know that last year, Richard Rodgers was really good for the Philadelphia Eagles. Unless you're going to trade Zachary Ertz. And if I'm the Eagles, I'm looking to do that right now because I know he's not a part of my future. Unless you're going to trade Zachary Ertz, Richard Rodgers has to go. Now, if you're going to trade Zachary Ertz, Richard Rodgers can stay because I have to keep Tyree Jackson. Okay. I just wrote down one word in my notes after watching that game. Wow. He looks like a Logan Thomas clone with more athleticism. He's scary. Next Thursday night leftover. Dwayne Haskins much improved in this game. Okay? 16 of 22, 161 and a touch. Now, you have, again, numbers can be misleading. You have to watch the game. This was dink and dunk city. At one point, he was 10 of 11 in this game, and I don't think he had thrown a pass more than 4 yards down the field. It was dink and dunk city for Dwayne. Okay? But we've always said that Dwayne can hit the target right in front of his face. That's never been a problem for him. It's when he starts to have to push it down the field. It's when you make him move his feet. And he threw the first incompletion. Oh my God. He scrambles out to his left. He's got a wide open receiver. And he throws that thing 4 yards in the opposite direction of where the guy is standing. And I'm looking like, Dwayne, what the hell was that? And the receiver's looking like, dude, I am wide open. What in the hell was that? Dwayne doesn't know. That's the problem with him, is you get good Dwayne and you get bad Dwayne. And bad Dwayne is a lot worse than good Dwayne is good. And so that's the problem with Dwayne Haskins. But he was really good in what they asked him to do. You know, underneath, short routes, quick wide receiver screens, get it out of his hands, get him into a rhythm. He had a touchdown pass where they were able to draw the Eagles off sides, and then he's able to roll out and find a wide open Anthony Johnson in the back of the end zone. So all in all, this was a really solid performance for Haskins, but I wouldn't run away and hide with it. Like, I wouldn't take this and run overboard with it if you're a Steelers fan. That said, my last Thursday night leftover from Eagles Steelers. I'm gonna dip that one in some sauce right there. Quez Watkins just blazed Trey Norwood. Now, I want to act surprised. I want to be surprised by that, but I'm not. Trey Norwood is slow. That's why he was drafted, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round by the Steelers. While he's got some ball skills, he's like a 4.5, 4.6 40 guy. He doesn't have wheels. So he's going to have to rely on his savvy. And he's going to have to take really good angles to the football, apparently, because Quez Watkins absolutely smoked that dude like he was caught in quicksand. Caught a wide receiver screen and turned on the jets. I'm talking about the afterburners. The fofo speed talking look oh so sweet talking. Quez Watkins murked on him. And if you watch it, it's bad. I mean, sometimes it's bad. Real bad. That was bad. That boy can fly though. That boy's fast. So he ran by the Steelers defender the first time on the deep ball that Hurts missed him on, and then he got a wide receiver screen, and he did not miss on that one. He could be a problem. Of all the guys that they drafted last year, and they drafted like 3 receivers, I'm not a John Hightower fan. Of the guys that they drafted last year, Quez Watkins is the one I said, okay, he could be problematic. And he's starting to show me he could be problematic. Those were my leftovers from the Steelers contest with the Philadelphia Eagles. Really good showing, I thought, by the Eagles, especially their offense. I was really impressed with what I saw. And I actually like their running back from Memphis as well, Kenneth Gainwell. But I already told you, I think they've got a stable of backs that's really impressive, and Gainwell is going to add to that mix in Philadelphia. So let's get to the Washington and New England Patriots game and their Thursday night leftovers. So Patriots win the game 22-13. Both Washington first teams look solid to me. I thought that the offense, similar to the Eagles, if you watch the game, Ryan Fitzpatrick's numbers not going to jump out and bite you. 5 of 8 for about, 50 some odd yards, 40 some odd yards, something like that. Not going to jump out and bite you. But if you watch the game, the offense moved. They failed on a 3rd and 1 on the first possession. Easily could have gone for it. They were right around midfield, decided to punt. And on the second possession, he moved them right down the field again. And he had a drop. Or not a drop, excuse me. He had a fall down by Adam Humphries, who was wide open. If he doesn't fall down, it's an easy completion. It's an easy conversion. And now you're inside the Patriots' 30-yard line. Instead, he falls down, and it's incomplete. And it was a wet night. It was raining. So, the receiver slips and falls, incomplete pass. They elect to kick a field goal. The field goal's missed. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. And that was his night. So I thought Fitzpatrick looked to be in sync, in rhythm. Everything looked like they checked off all the boxes you want from the first team in their limited reps, similar to the Eagles. And then the defense, everybody's seen the Chase Young sack of Cam Newton and the forced fumble. Should have been a scoop and score by Daron Payne, but he had trouble. He had stone hands. And so he couldn't pick up the football, and the Patriots ultimately recovered and punt. But the defense got off the field there, and I think the Patriots were able to get into field goal range on their second possession. But they had some good runs, a couple of completions, but nothing really extraordinary about that possession. To me, if we had Montez Sweat out there, I don't think that drive ever happens. But that's nor here nor there. You play with the guys that are on the field. The defense got to stop when they needed to get the stop, force the Patriots into a field goal attempt, and that was it for the defense. So I thought the first team defense, first team offense for Washington looked really solid. Next Thursday night leftover. This is the one you got to get out your teeth right there. Matthew Judon, brand new acquisition for the Patriots. He was flying around the field. He's got on a single-digit number. I think it's 9, might be 8. boy, he was flying. You know, he was disruptive. That 3rd and 1 that I talked about, Washington failed to pick up, that was Matthew Judon. Flying into the backfield, unblocked, making a tackle. He was everywhere. He did leave the game, though, banged up toward the end of that run for the first team defense. Hopefully he is okay. I don't think it's anything serious, but that looks to be a really good addition for the New England Patriots. They've lacked juice off the edge as an outside linebacker for them. Even the guys that were productive for them, Willie McGinnis and some of the other guys, I can't think of some of those other guys, Tully Banta-Kane and all these. None of those dudes were ever explosive and dynamic athletes. You know, they have that in Matthew Judon. So that looked good. Really, really good. Next, leftover. And we're getting low on leftovers here. Running back Jaret Patterson, undrafted, priority free agent for Washington, is making a strong case to make the football team. Last night was his night. 14 touches, 70 total yards, made every play, caught the football extremely well out of the backfield, showed natural pass catching ability, ran the football, had one play where he juked the draws off of a defender. If it were two-hand touch, he would not have gotten Jaret Patterson down on that play. So, hell, if it was flag football, he wouldn't have touched the flag. So, Jaret Patterson made a name for himself last night, and I think he's giving himself a tremendous opportunity to make this football team. Still got a lot of work to do, but that was a great step in the right direction for running back Jaret Patterson. Next leftover. This is it right here. This is the last bit, and then I got a few crumbs I'm going to just throw in here. So you don't want to leave no crumbs in the box. Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. The mickety Mac. The mickety Mac. Whoa, the mickety Mac. Hey, the mickety Mac. Looked pretty damn good last night, man. If I didn't know any better, if I covered my eyes and you asked me who it was and you put a 12 on his back, I would have thought it was Tom Brady. He was extremely surgical underneath, much like Dwayne Haskins. I will admit this. A lot of his passes were underneath. A lot of his throws were underneath. However, he was extremely accurate, very decisive, knew exactly where he wanted to go with the football. He had command of the offense. Hell, at the start of the third quarter, they came out and ran hurry up with Mac Jones, and he was just as comfortable and cool as the other side of the damn pillow. Hell, even showed off just a little bit of wheelage. Okay, had some wheels on the play on the third down where he was forced out of the pocket, had to run, came up a little short. He always looks awkward when he's getting tackled, though. He scares me. Like he's trying to break his kneecap. Like you can't break every fall with your knee, bruh. Okay? But that said, he actually looked good. I'm intrigued. And if I'm Cam Newton, I'm saying, I don't think I'm going to lose my job. I think I'm going to be the week 1 starter. But if I have one of those games that I had last year that caused me to get benched, I could have my job taken permanently. This kid looks ready. So, anyway, I digress. Next leftover. I've already cleaned the box out. Now I'm taking my finger and I'm scooping out some sauce. Place kicker Dustin Hopkins missed 2 kicks. Not 1, but 2 kicks last night for Washington. This was a problem for him last year. So now it's becoming a problem this year. If you're a Washington fan, should you panic? No, not yet. Ron Rivera obviously is not panicking. He's trying to blame it on all kinds of different things. The process needs to be set and we have to make sure everybody's on the same page. And I'm like, bro, the dude was missing kicks last year. Okay? This is not new. This is what he do. I'm not saying get rid of him, but there needs to be competition, and I don't think that they're bringing in competition, which frustrates me to no end. That said, what are you going to do? All we can do is hope that they get this shit fixed before September 12th, because if they don't, then you're scrambling in season to find a kicker when you could have taken care of this during the offseason. There's still time. I'm rooting for Dustin Hopkins, but I can no longer call him D-Hop if he can't make kicks. You don't get nicknames if you don't make kicks. Your mama named you Dustin. I'm going to start calling you Dustin until you can show me you can split the uprights. Last but not least, last bit of leftovers. And I'm shutting the box now. I'm done with it. Running back Ramondre Stevenson, 4th round pick out of Oklahoma for the New England Patriots. Making a case to make the New England Patriots roster. Now, they had already told Ramondre, bro, you want to make this team, you're going to have to show us something in camp. And you're going to have to show us something in the preseason because I don't know if you know this, we're loaded at running back. Loaded. They still got Damian Harris. They still got Sony Michel. They got a whole bunch of backs. Okay? A bunch of guys. Ramondre Stevenson showed his ass last night, including a 91-yard run to cap off the game. I didn't know he had that kind of speed. Thought somebody could catch him. He was running away. Now, it was third stringers out there. It doesn't matter. It wasn't Quez Watkins-esque. He wasn't pulling away from dudes. But he ran past everybody, and one of the linebackers chasing him damn near blew a gasket. It's always funny watching a dude run as fast as he possibly can. You can see he's farting when he's running because he's straining so damn hard. You know a couple of came out when you're watching him run, and he ain't getting no closer. As a matter of fact, the guy is pulling away. Ramondre Stevenson looked good last night. He scored a touchdown. He was strong on one of those drives where they scored a touchdown to take the lead for good in the game. Made the 91-yard touchdown run. He'll be a guy to keep an eye on in camp for the Patriots to see if they make a decision on not keeping him. Because if they don't keep him, I got a feeling some other teams may be eyeballing their stuff. Not saying, just saying. So those are your Thursday night leftovers. We are going to transition to garbage time here in a second, but I have some super chats, so we're going to get to those here in a second. But first, I'm going to ask you guys to do me a huge solid. I see that we're up over the century mark, so because of that, I need you guys to do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button if you're brand new to the channel. Welcome. Hit the subscribe button for more great content. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And most importantly, there's over 100 of you out there, over 110 now. Only 47 likes. Hit the like button. No reason we shouldn't be approaching 70 when this thing is all said and done. All right? Really do appreciate you, and I'm thanking you in advance. So, got a super chat here from J Mart. Thank you for the super chat, J Mart. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what up, Lou? Are we in trouble with D-Hop? We could be. I'm not sounding the alarm yet. I'm not going to push the button yet. But I'm not going to lie to you. If this is the button, I'm like this. I ain't pushing it yet, but I got my finger ready. So we could be in trouble. If this is a confidence thing and not a process and setup thing, which is what Ron Rivera is trying to make it out to be. You know, new long snapper and holder, they all got to get on the same page. When the holder asks for the ball, the snapper's got to snap it then. And, you know, he snaps a much harder ball, Ron says, so it's throwing off the timing of everything. So they got to get Nick Sundberg, you know, the timing of everything. They've done that for years. Now it's a different guy, so they got to get all of that under control. Okay, whatever excuses you want to make, I'm here for it. As long as those excuses prove to be true and he gets his act together. But I need to see the end result be this guy for the rest of the preseason. If he gets 6 more opportunities to kick field goals, I need him to be 6 for 6. Not 5 for 6. Not 4 for 6. I need him to be 6 for 6. Like, I need him to prove that he needs to be the kicker. But obviously, they don't feel like it's that imminent. They don't feel like he's in any kind of danger. That's why they haven't brought anybody in yet. Till I hear that they're bringing in competition, I don't think they feel like they've got a problem. So, we could be in trouble. I'll say that much. Emperor Meech, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Emperor Meech, writes, 8 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. Patrick Peterson is a Hall of Famer. You're probably right. You're probably right. And I wouldn't have a problem with him getting in. I feel like some of those years were years where he got those accolades off of the strength of being Patrick Peterson. Those 3 All-Pros, I'd love to know when they came. I guarantee you it was on the front end of his career. Front end, because he was dominant in the first 5 years of his career. There weren't many better. I felt like after that, he wasn't as dominant. And I don't know if it coincided with that suspension. But look, guys can make the Pro Bowl just off the strength of their name. So like, Pro Bowls don't impress me. The All Pros is the number that gets me. 3 of them. It's hard to do that. That you don't just luck into All Pros. You can get 8 Pro Bowls just by being dominant your first 2 years, and then when people start voting, oh, Patrick Peterson, they don't know what the hell he's doing. They just know it's Patrick Peterson, so he's in the Pro Bowl. These players don't know. A lot of these fans don't know what the hell these players are doing, but they're voting, and they're voting for these guys because they know name recognition. So Pro Bowls don't do anything for me. You need them if you want to get in the Hall of Fame, though. You need them. The All Pros is what did it for me. 3 of them, that's a lofty number, because that means you're the best of the best in the league at your position. He did it 3 times. So he's probably a Hall of Fame player. It feels like he's a Hall of Fame player. But I told you, there were times where I looked at him and I'm like, Pat Pete looking real suspect right now. He's probably a Hall of Fame player. You're probably right. More likely than not. Captain Spartan 04, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Cap writes, I'm excited for Schobert. Our linebacker core is deep and scary. I love the move. I've talked about it already on the show. I love the move, man. Honestly, Jacksonville gave him away for a hot ham and cheese sandwich and a bag of Bugles that was 1/3 full. A bunch of air. You open the bag and you look down, damn, somebody already ate my bag before I opened it. And you're not complaining, though. You're not complaining because you didn't really have to give up much. If what I'm hearing the compensation is accurate, a late round draft pick, that's stealing, man. Because Joe Schobert's a really good linebacker in this league. Talked about that already. Thank you for the super chat, Captain Spartan. My guy, Captain Spartan, runs it back. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Captain Spartan. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Captain Spartan, writes, by the way, highly likely we have a top 5 special teams, so many studs. We'll see about that. Special teams is important. Very, very important. And I was impressed. You had a punt, and it wasn't your boy from last week that you drafted. It was another punter. And I think it was another punter. It might have been him. I'm tripping. I think I might be thinking about something else. I could have sworn you had a white dude kicking, though. And you drafted a brother to punt. Anyway, I know that y'all downed the punt at like the 2-yard line. Y'all had another punt that bounced backwards that y'all downed inside the 10 again. Like y'all were doing some things over there, man. I want to say it was Jordan Berry. Didn't he used to be your punter? Is he still there in Pittsburgh? Am I tripping? Am I like 2 years behind and Jordan Berry's gone somewhere else, or is he still in Pittsburgh? And you drafted the young punter as well to kind of duke it out. He got the kicks last week, so Jordan Berry was getting the kicks this week. Help me on that. I might be tripping. You know how it is sometimes. Anyway, with that said, let's go ahead and wrap this show up with garbage time. And I want to talk about these young quarterbacks, all these rookies that went in the first round this year, and their chance to start. So the reason this topic came up for me is because the Jaguars reportedly, Herb has come out and said, hey, we got an open quarterback competition. Gardner Minshew II and Trevor Lawrence going to duke it out to see who has the right to start, who's earned the right to start at quarterback. And that's not a bad thing. You know, Trevor needs to not just be given the quarterback position, but rather earn it. I thought Gardner Minshew got a raw deal last year in Jacksonville. I felt like the Jaguars literally, everyone wants to talk about what the Eagles did in week 17 and how shameful that was. And I said, no, the Eagles definitely tanked. That's a real thing. But that was one game. Okay? That was one game. The Jaguars tanked for about 12 weeks. That's an exaggeration. The Jaguars tanked for about 8-9 weeks last year. Because we all knew, I know, Jake Luton isn't better than Gardner Minshew II, okay? Long neck, Mike Glennon, not better than Gardner Minshew. And I got into it with a Jaguars fan, and it wasn't like we were going at it. He was like, look, man, Gardner Minshew was terrible last year. And the other guys actually gave us a better chance to win. And that may be true. But pound for pound, Gardner Minshew is better than those other guys. And if they would have just allowed Gardner Minshew to figure some shit out. Remember, Gardner had the injury, and that was their excuse. Hey, we gonna let Gardner heal up. And when he was ready to go, they was like, hey, we ain't putting your ass back in. We realized we trash, and we got a chance to get the #1 pick in the draft. You're not going back in the game. And then when they finally put him in, they put him in against like two of the hardest teams that they could have put him in against. They like, we know he gonna wet the bed in this game. We gonna set him up for failure. So it looks like he stinks, and we can put the other guys back in that we know ain't gonna win no damn games for us. The Jaguars did the shit for like 8 weeks, and nobody said a word. I think Gardner Minshew can play. I'm not saying he's supposed to be a starter in this league or anything of the sort. I'm just saying I thought he got a raw deal, and I'm happy to hear that he's getting a chance. Make Trevor Lawrence earn it. I think he ultimately will, but maybe he's not ready. We'll see. These preseason games will tell the story. Now, I think Lawrence is going to win that battle. What says you? Who wins that quarterback battle between Gardner Minshew II and Trevor Lawrence? Justin Fields in Chicago versus Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. Bears signed Andy Dalton to a 1-year, $10 million contract, which says he's supposed to be their starter, right? But Justin Fields has been so impressive in camp. They're doing a scrimmage with the Miami Dolphins right now, and he's been so good. And these preseason games, again, are going to tell the story. It could be similar to Russell Wilson in his first year with the Seahawks. They drafted him in the 3rd round. They had signed Matt Flynn and gave him all this money, and he was supposed to be the guy. And Russell Wilson knocked their socks off all throughout camp and into the preseason. They said, look, man, I know we gave Matt Flynn this money, but this dude's ready right now. And they haven't looked back since. It could be the same thing for Justin Fields in Chicago. He's been so impressive. He's said and done all the right things to this point. He could be in the process of winning his teammates over. They may not have a choice. And again, I don't know how close to the edge GM Ryan Pace and head coach, what is their damn head coach's name? I can't think of his name. It'll come to me. But I can't think of how close they are to the edge. It's funny because two out of the last 3 seasons, the Bears have made the playoffs. You would think the Bears have been just ass-tastic the last 3 years. But they've actually made the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years. All right? So it's funny because you would think they're on the hot seat. And maybe they are. And one of the best ways to save your job if you're on the hot seat is to take a young quarterback that you drafted and show the ownership that, hey, we got this kid. We got it right, and he's learning and he's flourishing in our system. Give us time to really show you what this kid can really do. Allow us to unlock him for you. Matt Nagy. Thank you, Jordan Jones and DCJ. Matt Nagy. He's been to the playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years. Nobody really wants to talk about that. I'm not a Matt Nagy fan. Let me just tell you that right now. I am not a Matt Nagy fan. But Matt Nagy has found ways to win football games. So we'll see what happens. The bottom line is, I think Justin Fields has a legitimate shot to win the job and be the starter in Chicago week 1. Will it happen? The preseason will tell the story. I like his chances right now. Him and Fields, Lawrence and Fields right now, look like they've got a chance to be legitimate week 1 starters. Trey Lance in San Francisco against Jimmy Garoppolo. Everything points to, all signs point to San Francisco going with the veteran Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think ultimately that's what happened. I really think the last 2 situations that we'll talk about kind of mirror one another. You know that the young guy that they drafted in the 1st round is going to be the future, and that's the heir apparent, and that guy could be ready when his name is called or his number is called at some point this season. But you want to go with the veteran to start the season because you want to see if that veteran can give you a chance to win right away this season. But if things go sideways with that veteran, you're ready to put the young fella in to see what he's got. I think both Trey Lance and Mac Jones in New England are in similar situations. With Trey Lance, he's got all the intangibles. I read an article which featured a quote from Trent Williams where he said, you see this kid, you see the athleticism, you see the arm, and you see that this kid's a generational talent. That's coming from a left tackle. Now, Trent Williams doesn't know what generational talent looks like at the quarterback position because he played in Washington for a number of years. So he doesn't know what good quarterbacking really looks like. So, he saw Robert Griffin III in 2012. He saw Kirk Cousins in 2015. And he's seen good quarterbacks, but he hasn't seen elite generational talent. But maybe, just maybe, he's right about Trey Lance. So he's been good at times in camp, but I don't think Kyle Shanahan wants to rush him. He's like, it's a long shot for this guy to start. And I think that may be true. But I wouldn't count him out. We'll see how the preseason goes, but I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get the first crack at having the 49ers have a successful season. We'll see where that goes. And then finally, same thing with Mac Jones, I think, in New England. Cam Newton's going to get the first crack. I fully believe that they're going to give Cam Newton every opportunity to prove that, the first 4-5 games of the season before he got COVID, when he was actually playing really well and they were winning ball games, is more along the lines of what Cam Newton is and not the guy that we saw at the back end of the season that could barely finish a game because he was constantly getting benched. So I think Newton's going to get a chance because New England wants to win and they think the veteran gives them the best chance to do that. But again, all it's going to take is one abysmal performance. Not saying that at the first sight of trouble, the Patriots are going to bail on Cam Newton. But if he's struggling and they lose a game and they felt like we could have won that game if we had better quarterbacking, and then they start him the next week and he's struggling, in the first half, I wouldn't be shocked if he got benched. I think 2 consecutive struggling performances, and that midway through that second one, I think he gets benched. They go to Mac Jones and they don't look back. So we'll see what happens. But of the 4 first-round quarterbacks that were selected in this past spring's NFL draft, I think Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields have the best chance to start week 1. And it's crazy because I think we did an exercise where I talked about who would be the last to start of the quarterbacks. I think I ranked them who had the best chance to start right away, yada, 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 and who was going to be last. And I think I said Justin Fields was going to be last and that they had no reason to rush him. Well, he might be ahead of schedule. We'll see. Again, preseason will tell the story. It's one thing to do it against your own players. It's another thing to do it in practice against a scrimmage against another team. It's another thing to do it when the bullets are live and you can actually get hit. We'll see what happens with all of these young quarterbacks and how they perform in the preseason, because that's going to go a long way in determining whether these guys get the nod week 1 or not. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the 189th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. Thank you guys for joining me on this Friday evening. A lot of fun. Looking forward to chopping it up with you over the weekend. This is going to be one of those spontaneous weekends. I may watch a game and I'm so impressed with what I saw, I may jump on and do a live stream. Who knows? Got a lot going on, though, so no guarantees. It's like Chico the Barge. Not now, not now. No guarantees. No guarantees. Ah, baby. No guarantees, baby. No guarantees. But you know how I am. You know how I do. It's football, man. And when this football gets injected into my veins, I start doing some crazy things. Y'all know how it goes. So, with that said, I'm going to glide to the side, allow you guys to get to the rest of your evening. I can't wait to get this weekend started. Bart Scott, can't wait. Got football on tonight, as a matter of fact. So, looking forward to all of it. So, get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man Louie T. Until next time, you guys, have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and do me a huge solid on the way out. Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And lastly, hit that like button. Bless the kid on the way out with a thumbs up. Until next time, you guys, take care.
Louie.